Bronxnet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of Bronxnet or the program underwriters.
What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind?
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your mind? What's on
Let 'em know.
What's on your mind? What's on your
Let 'em
mind?
know.
What's on your mind?
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference.
What's your
in someone's
perspective?
life. Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share your perspective.
What's your perspective? Let 'em know.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Perspectives. Darren Hybe here with you tonight on Perspectives. For the next half hour, we're going to address the issue of poverty and what can you do in order to make it better. Well, our guest in studio is somebody who seems to have a solution to the problem. Too many times we talk about the problem, but not the solution. Our guest in studio today is a person that's offering a solution to putting an end to poverty. His name is Darryl Penrice, and he is the executive director of povertydemise.org. And we thank you for joining us, Darryl.
Thank you for having me.
When you talk about povertydemise.org, tell people exactly what is PDO actually about.
Well, PDO, it takes a different approach to ending poverty, right? When everybody thinks about poverty, it's usually conceptualized as being this massive mountain that can't be moved, that can't really be changed. People just accept it as a way of life. But what poverty really is, if you break it down to the sum of its parts, it's just a lack of economic buying power, all right? So basically the people who are in poverty, they understand that they need rent, they understand that they need food, they understand that they need clothing, they understand that they need these things, but they don't have the economic buying power to attain these things. So with my website, what I do is allow donors who have an abundance of economic buying power to share their economic buying power with people living in poverty. Basically, they can go to the website, purchase a bag of groceries, and then send a gift certificate for that bag of groceries to a family living in poverty anywhere in the country.
And basically, this website connects donors with those poor recipients and really a hands-on way of really making it happen. I want to tell our viewers, when you talk about New York City, here's some interesting statistics to report. 14.2% of New York City residents are actually living below the poverty line, and actually New York is the 18th in the country in residents living below the poverty line. And there you see number 1 is Mississippi there. 18 is New York, and right there, the tri-state area, number 47 is New Jersey. So you do have right here locally a lot of poverty that goes on, not just locally, but internationally as well. You're able to meet the needs of people both on a local basis and an international basis just basically through the web.
Exactly. The system itself, I designed it based on American infrastructure. So in terms of the policies of, how people are screened into the system and how they qualify for certain programs, that's all based on an American system. But the fundamentals of how the website works is international. One, it's a website, so it's online, it's viewable by everybody in the world. But the way that we deliver the gift certificates, from the donor to the recipient is basically using text messages or just through the website using a printed gift certificate from the computer. Because we're combining, we also use UPC barcodes, and we connect that to the actual cash donation. Now, by connecting the barcodes to the cash donations, you can literally purchase something at a distance. So, for example, let's say that you have a poor family in Western China and you are a donor in New York and you want to buy a bag of groceries for the family in China. You can literally, as long as you're on the website, you can go to the website, purchase that bag of groceries, And what happens is that the local store in China, they have shared their UPC barcode database with us. So when you purchase that bag of groceries, you're purchasing specific items to go into that bag. Now, on the China side of things, the recipient, the poor person in poverty who needs that bag of groceries, literally walks in, they use their cell phone to confirm who they are or show ID, and they can literally walk out with a bag of groceries that you purchased from New York.
Amazing. Let's talk about how do actually, first of all, poor people access the internet, because we know that there's a lot of people out there that have a lack of resources in connecting to the internet. When you talk about that poor person being on the other side, how do they do that?
All right, that's actually one of the core questions I get of, all right, how do poor people access the internet? Well, in the U.S., it's actually fairly simple. Public schools, libraries. Also, I'm working with the Riverside Church of New York to create a system where we have churches, mosques, synagogues, and so forth, to basically be able to set up small computer labs, public access computer labs, right inside of their institutions for poor members of the public to come in and use at any given time to access their PDO benefits. The Riverside Church of New York has already officially endorsed povertyisdemise.org, and they're looking to be our partner when we launch a pilot program of PDO in New York.
Wow, PDO is making a move. How do you plan on bridging the digital divide, especially in those poor communities?
With the digital divide aspect, it was actually a pretty big hurdle to get over in terms of designing the website. If you look at the recipient portal of the website, there's actually two portals, one for donors, one for recipients. But
and I'm not to cut you off, but I want to throw up the graphic, and maybe we can talk a little bit about it as we go on, as we take a look on the graphic. Go ahead, keep talking now.
Yeah, the recipient portal itself, it was designed from the point of view of a 16-year-old low-level literacy single parent. So basically, you don't have to have a high level of literacy to use this website. All right. If you look at the recipient portal itself, it's basically graphics. Okay. It's a graphical interface, just like a McDonald's cash register. If you don't understand something on the screen, you can literally click on a picture. Additionally, I created something that I call Audio Web to help people with illiteracy problems use the web. All right. What Audio Web does is it's a real simple button. They can click Audio Web. Once Audio Web is selected, whenever the user mouses over something, a small MP3 file will read the word or icon aloud. So if you don't understand something, mouse over it, and it'll literally be read to you by your computer.
So in all aspects, then poor people do have an opportunity to access the internet, get what they need, and then be able to really receive the much needed resources that they have.
Exactly. Like when I designed povertyisdemise.org, I actually thought about my own experience in Chicago, you know, growing up in poverty. Now, my mother, I remember her dragging me around to this office for social welfare, this office for insurance, this office for food assistance, and so forth. And, you know, I'm Saturday morning kid. I just want to watch cartoons. I don't want to
hang out. That's right.
So what I did when I designed the portal was made it a one-stop shop on the internet for a mother to basically be able to manage all social welfare benefits related to her child, one spot. Log in with a username and password from any internet-connected computer, and she can control all aspects of her child's social welfare benefits.
Now, let me ask you this. Where did the idea, because this sounds, I mean, it sounds unique, it sounds to the point, it sounds almost simplistic. How did this idea come about?
Honestly, I just sketched it. I'm a web designer. I'm a web designer by training. I also ran an internet company while I was living abroad for a few years. So I know my way around the computers and so forth. But before I build any website, the first thing I do is sit down with a pencil and a notebook, and I just try to sketch out my thoughts. And this just happened to be a really good thought.
And it went places. And we want to tell you that if you want to join in on our conversation, you can call 718-960-7150 is the number where you can call in and share. We're going to open up our phone lines right now because we've got Wisham on the line who's got a question. And welcome to Perspectives.